Good evening from Yummy Bee TV, and it was late and I was all alone behind the door again. Sending loads of love to you all as usual and hoping your day has gone the best it possibly can. We may even go live tonight to see if I can raise the standards from last night, but I've been out all day. I'm not sure if I'm going to be up for it, but we're going to see, you know, how spontaneous I am, right? But this story goes back to the category A's, and it's a massive one. Certain things need clarifying along the way, especially with the figures involved in this one. But remember, it's my opinion and my version of events, okay? To put that mildly now. This situation happened in another Cat A. So, a geezer we've talked about, funny enough, in fights on Yummy Bee TV already, Carlos H, right? I knew him a little bit, and he's quite a handful, really, and more of a tool man, I thought, but weren't too, he was handy still with his hands, I thought, like my level-ish, or a bit more, if you get what I mean. He was up to, well, he probably beat me in the show, but I don't know, different Yummies, different days, but it's not about me, right? But he is on my channel already, but it's the same person we're talking about. Now, during this time, a lot of things happened in the cans, I'm afraid, a lot of skullduggery, and it was alleged that Carlos nicked a Rolex watch from a well-known Cypriot Turkish gangster. I can't tell you his name. No permission to do such a thing, right? Not robbed him, nicked it out of his cell, right? So there was a big scream up, like there would be in those places with the amount of big names that were around about that time, right? Now, the pressure got so much because everybody's hunting down the watch now. I'm hearing that Kevin Lane was there at the time, but he was on a different wing. But before Kevin, because Kevin had alliances with the Turkish and the Cypriot connection as well, if you get what I mean, like he did to a lot of other big firms from that life that he led in the past life, if you get what I mean, wanted to see Carlos about this watch. But by the time he could see him, wanted to see him, Carlos got swagged down to the segregation, right? So no, as far as I know, the watch never got found. Now, a little later on, everybody's in another Cat. Carlos is there, and the news is filtering through that Kevin Lane is coming in an helicopter with guns on all to Long Larton, right? Now, and Tony Argent, Ronnie Parry, Goldfinger Palmer was there at that time as well, and another feature in this this story as well. A geezer called Robmack from Liverpool, right? So the news is travelling because you just know when double A cats are coming, the helicopters, and who is it? Gary Tyson, Kevin Lane. No, there's all different. You could have all different theories, but the truth was Kevin Lane had actually got shipped out of Whitemore, was coming from Belmarsh, so he must have been on a lie down back in Belmarsh and then been flown into Long Larton, right? Now, Kevin comes on the first day, so it's kind of summary. On the first day, it's exercise. So Kevin would have been around about the induction wing. I didn't know at that time that obviously him and Goldfinger Palmer were allegedly really, really close, right? Now, I always thought it was just a bodyguard thing, but allegedly it is more than that, right? As you find out now in this story, it really became apparent, or it became apparent to me much later on at that time. Like, you could say, you know, Kevin's an enforcer or bodyguard for some of the big names in that, but I think it's a bit more than that. I'm thinking more of a case that Kevin is friends with them from other times and bumps into them. And, you know, it's not like he says, yeah, give me money and I'll do this for you and that for you. I think it's more of a friend thing, and don't worry about all that, I'll sort it out, yeah? So Kevin comes out, looking forward to seeing Goldfinger Palmer on the field. He ends up on Tony Argent's and Ronnie Parry's wing. So they go onto the field. Kevin can't believe it. Carlos H is on the field, right? So Kevin, before he's just put down his bags, got to the prison and is walking on the field, like seeing all the boys and all that, because you know he's a big name in the CATAs, right? We all know that. So he's seen Carlos. So he's gone to Tony Argent and Ronnie Parry. Hold on, wait 1 minute, boys. Let me go. I've got to talk to someone. He's there going, what, Kev? Trouble? What's going on? And all that kind of thing. Carlos is coming towards him, right? So you're thinking he might have a tool, which he normally did, or around about the time allegedly did, if you get what I mean. But he comes, Kevin's called him over, and he's gone, don't talk to me like that, talk to me. He said two things to Kevin. Kevin said, no, I want to talk to you now. So they're walking towards each other, right? Now, I'm thinking this is going to go off severely, but before, about 2 yards from Kevin Lane just went, bam, bang in the stomach. He killed over, and I think Kevin hit him with an uppercut, but I think he was going on the floor before the right hand done, but he was done and dusted on the floor, right? Now, just after that, because people witnessed it, and I think staff, you know, were on it, but couldn't actually work out who was actually involved, because, you know, on the football field, there's a lot of people around a lot of people. So John Goldfinger Palmer is on the field as well, and, you know, I realised straight away that they're really close, right? Really, really close. And there was a story, you know, just to keep things, remember, it's my bits of what I heard. John Palmer, we know that I had some little encounters at small times during my journey. But there is a version that in John Palmer's case with the timeshares, because he was getting, you know, there's people that are saying they're old people and there's a liberty really what he did and all that, but really in reality, the other parts that, you know, that people leave out is that actually he employed, being a CRO of his company, he employs 17 loads of people, and 17 of them got, you know, they were complaining about, you know, money and times and whatever. And actually, Goldfinger Palmer offered to pay them all back with interest. Yeah, it's very important to know this, you know. Yeah, because after all, there was 15,000 so-called timeshare things and that kind of stuff. Now, the truth behind the matter, right? I'm not saying I looked at his paperwork, but I'm saying people really close to him believe that that's how it went, that the police was after him from a long time for the Brinks-Mac job. Yeah, let's not forget that. And they want to get him at any cost. What happened was the 17 employers were the ones doing the timeshare scandal thing, but it was under his company. It's as simple as that. Some simple explanations can change different opinions on certain things. I didn't know at this time about that bit of it, and you know, from the word on the street in the jungle, he's not everyone's cup of tea, Goldfinger John Palmer, right? Now, you can see that he's delighted to see Kevin Lane, right? So whether, you know, I would be thinking, or they would be thinking that, oh yeah, Kevin isn't in for his Kevin, he's acting him. No, Kevin actually had history with him in Tenerife, right? I've got a part 2 story coming up to this. Now, John Palmer didn't want him to get in no trouble, but specifically Kevin Lane, you heard by many, Kevin Lane says to Goldfinger Palmer, John, do not worry. Nothing can't happen to you here. You will be sweet. That's come out of Kev's mouth. I don't know whether Kev likes this or not. My Uncle Yummy tells you, this is my version, right? Now, so John goes, yeah, but you just don't get in, because he doesn't want Kevin to leave him, obviously, because he just got to the jail. He was obviously, he's going to be that way. He got to stay a little while. Kevin Lane used to send the 2 buckets of distill over for John Palmer because he was on a different wing, and I think Kevin Lane had a word with robmack, because Kevin Lane couldn't get on the wing because he got stuck on the wing he was on. So the famous distill drinks, the huge, Kevin was the king of it. He used to send them over to John Goldfinger Palmer. Yeah, so it's interesting that, because on the MBT, we've mentioned stories with John Palmer and certain things happening around him where people, you know, don't feel him this way, don't feel him that way. The truth is, a lot of people had respect for John Palmer, and he said hello to a lot of people every day. He's a bit deep as well, John Palmer. Remember, I told you some of these things before, but the reality is that ever since the Brinks-Mac, they didn't want. So when he offered to pay the money back to the 17 timeshare things, the police told him that no, we don't want to do it. And basically the 17 all turned on him, and then it becomes more and more and more. This is what I believe. And that's how it came out, because they realised they were going to get more compensation, whatever. But basically the police stepped in to say, no, he's not going to worm his way out of this. We're going to take that and we're going to build that and we'll get that to go with that. It's as simple as that sometimes. Trust me. But that's how it was, and it is. And thank you, a couple of you, for jogging my memory, because there's all different things, right, that people message me. Yeah, but Yummy, Tony didn't like Goldfinger. This one didn't like Goldfinger. You've done little bits of him. Like, what was the real consensus? The real consensus is that when Kevin Lane turned up, nobody was saying anything. And remember, John Palmer never never went anywhere. He wasn't afraid of anyone. He faced the music anywhere. Goldfinger Palmer, right? But yeah, it's definitely true about that story with the Rolex watch and with Kevin turning up to Long Lartin and John Palmer. The relationship obviously goes much further than prison. So it'd been beforehand. So definitely love there with Kevin Lane and John Goldfinger Palmer. But Palmer looked up to Kevin Lane as his #1 man in there, from what I know and from what I saw. Part 2 coming up on a fight in Tenerife. I'm going to give that to you soon if you ask me for it.